So you guys remember the Mod book, but have you ever heard of its stupid cousin, the Lingraphica LG6000, also possibly known as the Express2? Well, I've got one right here. And this system has been a pain in my rear end since I got it to get to work. And it also has a dead battery in it, so I don't want to unplug it. But this is the Lingraphica LG6000. And I managed to finally get it all to work, except for the touchscreen. Yes, this does have a touchscreen in it, and it doesn't work. Well, for such a rare system, I found another one on eBay. Let's get to it. So anyway, guys, welcome to another episode. I am Greg Hrutkay of Hrutkay Mods, and this is the Lingraphica LG6000. This one right here is based off of a 3.1 MacBook, white MacBook, and has a few features in it that make it just a little weird. It's got this screen support stand, which squeaks. It's got this huge piece of white acrylic on the back holding all the electronics for the touchscreen, and it actually plugs in to the side with a USB cable. It's a really weird piece of tech here. And when I first got this thing, it had no sound, and the whole thing was locked out. You could not access any of the menus because it's got parental controls enabled on it. Because you're never supposed to connect this to the internet, and you're only supposed to use the provided programs on it. Well, I booted it into this drive here, reset all the passwords for all the administrators, and fixed the sound, which got muted, and the keys got disabled for all the hot function keys. So you couldn't turn it up or down. I got the sound to work, but I couldn't get the screen to work. The screen is bulging, and it's also delaminating on the side. I think the touch electronics and all the touch pieces in this screen are dead, and good luck finding them. This is such a strange and weird system that even the company that made it has nothing about it on their website. And yes, their website still exists. They still make assistive technology devices. This system right here is a speech synthesis device. And if you guys knew about my speech impediment, speech synthesis is really hard for me to say. But yeah, this allows a speech impaired person to speak. And you just touch the screen, touch on icons, and it speaks for you. And it's supposed to be pretty intuitive, and it should just work. This system right here doesn't. Yeah, the screen itself is detected in System Profiler, but it does not actually detect in any of the software. So either it's a driver problem or the screen's just broken because, like I said, it's bulged. It's pulling away from the screen, and it's just not in great shape up here. The rest of the system's actually in pretty good shape. I don't know if it had been not used a whole lot or what happened to it. It also had voiceover enabled by default on it. So every time you opened up any window on it, it would repeat the same words over and over again. Even when you clicked on a button, it would repeat the same words all over and over again. So I got in the menu and disabled that too because it was, annoying. Well, as you saw in the intro, I found another one on eBay. Now, I want to thank Aaron Click from Low End Mac for reaching out to me and saying, hey, have you ever heard of this system before? Because he found one locally for sale back in April of last year in Canada that he's like, this is a really neat system. I've never heard of it. And I finally found his message, and I had never heard of it. So I looked it up, and I found this one on eBay. And this one on eBay. And this one actually cost more, but I managed to talk them down because after this one didn't work, I needed another one. This one's model older. This is the LG 6000. This is the LG 6000, but this is a 3,1. It's running a lockdown version of 10.5.1 on it. And this is running a semi-lockdown. It just has some functions disabled on it. Lockdown version of 10.4.9 on it. And they have never been updated because they're never supposed to connect to the internet, which is really weird because looking through the parental controls on this, Safari is enabled on the parental controls, but it's not supposed to connect to the internet. In fact, the Wi-Fi by default is disabled. But I did connect it up to at least update the time and stuff on it, and yeah, it does connect. All the hardware in it is the same as a regular MacBook, but yeah. Anyway, getting back to this. This is complete with everything it came with, including all the manuals and documents. We're going to go over that. In fact, it's got a picture of an iBook G4 on the front of this. Yeah. But yeah, it comes with all the documents, everything. And this system is so clean, I almost think it was never used. It is the cleanest MacBook I've ever touched because I never got to play with these when they were new. And this is like brand new. It's super, super new. We open up here. There it is there in the case. Now, this one's based off the 2,1. This is based off the 3,1. That means this is a 32-bit EFI Mac. This is a 64-bit EFI Mac, but still limited to up to, Mountain Lion properly. And you really don't want to update these anyway because of all the software on them. I haven't gone completely through this bag yet. We're going to do that together. There's also one other difference on this. There's some different stickers on it that they changed when they came out with this one. In fact, I think they made a 5,2 version like my mod book is. It looks identical to this. But this is the 3,1. And this is the 2,1. Actually, this might be a 4,1. This might be a 3,1. I'm getting confused now. We're going to find out together, I guess, because, yeah, this is a 4,1. This is a 3,1. I think. We're going to have to figure that out. But this is a 4,1. So, yeah, it's still old. It's got GMA graphics in it. It's not going to run the latest OS, even if you tried. You could with no acceleration, lots of hacks, but I'm getting it's besides the point here. We're getting way off track here. Let's look at these systems now because, let's meet the Lingraphicas and experiment with them. And I think we should actually get the experience of opening this thing first, just so you see everything that came with it. So let's get to it. All right, so before we start, I would like to address that this is a 3,1 and that is a 4,1. So they're both 64-bit EFI systems. This would be able to run up to El Capitan because it's a 3,1, and this could run past El Capitan, but still no graphics acceleration. So Mountain Lion's about the best you would be able to do, and you're not supposed to update them anyway. But that clears the air, so we don't have to look that stuff up. So anyway, this is the Lingraphica LG 6000's case that actually came when you bought it from the factory. In here is a power brick that says Lingraphica Power Supply. If you notice, all of the Lingraphica labels are just those label maker prints. They did that from the factory. They didn't really go very far out with anything. It's fancy. So you got the power supply. Spin this around. Here's my other LG 6000, the 3-1 version, and this one doesn't have a support foot. That was introduced with the 4-1 version. But this sucker is clean. Like brand new, just a little dirty, but like brand new, very, very clean. It is as new as you can get. Now, I did have the stickers on the buttons fall off, and I had to stick them back on, and then a little smudge there. But other than that, it's like brand new. And the screen's all in one piece and covered in my fingerprints, because I forgot to wipe it down after trying it out. But yeah, this is the system. If you notice, the wire's not plugged in, because it says right on the top, when transporting, unplug it, because otherwise you'll snap it off in the port. And yeah, you just plug it into this port, and then you have a touch screen. A little weird, but it's cool. Everything it came with here. If you want to pause any of the parts of the video, you can. Here is the 1-year warranty for it. Here is the newsletter that came with the systems. In fact, I think they mailed these out for new people for a while. This is from fall of 2008. So this didn't come with the system because this came out in late 2007. And that one actually came out in early 2008. So this was a mail one. In fact, let me cover the recipient's name. If you look here, it was mailed to the person, and that is what the back says. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, if you guys want to pause and read that, you can do that also. All right, so I had to take a phone call there. Anyway, so there's other things in this bag that we can look at real quick, and then we'll get on to the systems. Okay, there's one other thing in this bag, I guess. Well, I figured this came with restore software. Oh, it did. Well, that's a quick reference. Yeah, it doesn't come with restoration software. So if the computer dies, you're boned. But anyway, this is the quick reference cards. It's kind of neat, actually. So it gives you a general idea how to get the thing to work. Pretty cool. And then you got the Getting Started guide. It's the Lingraphica, all that stuff. It's kind of neat. But yeah, this book will take a while to actually read. It's kind of thick. We got over 40 pages. We're not going through them all. But if you look at them, it tells you everything. It's kind of neat. The funny thing is, oh, that's different. Half the pictures are MacBooks, the other half are of the early version of it, which I guess was the iBook G4. At least I assume that's an iBook G4 and not a G3 Snow. But half these pictures are of iBook G4s. So they didn't update this very often. But yeah, this tells you everything you need to know to make this work. So, yeah, they did update it some, of course. It's got pictures of MacBooks in it, but it's got a lot of pictures of the early model. I'd like to find the early model. This is also, I think, a list of every word it can say. And you can actually make it say other words. I figured that out, but I don't quite know how to make it work smoothly. But I can make the system cuss if I want to, which is kind of fun. But yeah, that's cool. So anyway, that's everything that's in here. Let's get on with everything else. Little more evidence that this thing may have never really been used. There's barely any speck of dirt or scratch on the charger that came with the 3,1 version. It looks brand new. It's quite amazing how clean that is. So let's plug these two in. We'll boot them up together and see which one boots faster, and you'll see how they boot up. Also, before we do that, here's the 4,1. This is the support stand, which squeaks like crazy and is kind of floppy and flimsy and bent. Yeah, and as you can tell, this is literally a piece of white acrylic glued onto the back of the screen. It looks cheap, and it's just kind of weird. But if you look at the other system, they actually tried to make it look less like acrylic. They chamfered the edges better. They smoothed them down. Plus, it's cleaner. So the dirt collects on the edges. It makes it look cheap and crappy. Yeah, it's a weird thing. So yeah, let's plug these in. All right, so before we boot these systems up, I would like to point out two things that are quite interesting about this system here. This system is that 3,1. This is the 4,1. This is very obvious 3,1 because until late 2007, they still had the Apple command keys, which are on here. And after late 2007, they started the regular modern day command keys. So I honestly always liked the Apple command keys. It harkened back to an older day, back when all command keys were Apple keys. A lot of people called them the Apple key. Also, this thing is so new, the battery still works. It's got the original battery in it, and it actually works. And I can demonstrate that. We'll unplug it, and we can turn it on. And it boots right up, which is kind of cool, but we're going to turn that off so we can boot these together. If it will go back on, there we go. So let's boot them up, and you guys can see, let's move you over a little bit here. You guys can see what they boot into and how they work. And already the 4,1 is slower. I think this one you just saw a pretty hard life. This one's booting in the Tiger, and this one's booting in the Leopard. And they'll automatically open up the programs. The 4,1 has caught up. This one's booting into what? Okay, is the English version. Yeah, now the 3,1's showing it's a bit slower. But it still boots up. And there we go. And if the touchscreen worked on this, what?
Want. Other.
It fixed itself. That touchscreen hasn't worked since I bought the thing. Holy crap! You're kidding me.
People. Home people. Clothes.
You're kidding me.
Hospital.
Now, I see why they put the support stand, because it gets kind of floppy,
Nursing home.
as you can see.
map,
Where this one,
pronoun,
very solid.
hospital people, home people,
It just works. I was not expecting that one to work. I don't even know how to respond to that. Wow. I'm speechless. Anyway, these have a flash player in them that will teach you everything there is to know about the system. Like before you begin, meet the Lingraphica. And I believe this is the same software on both of them.
This is what the Lingraphica looks like when you take it out of the box. To open it,
this is what the Lingraphica looks like when you take it out of the box. To open it, simply open the
to
lid.
plug the Lingraphica in, use the power cord.
It actually,
This end goes in the
it's
Lingraphica,
working.
and this end goes in the wall.
I can't believe that
The
one
Lingraphica
works.
end is magnetized, so it's easy to connect. And also, it pulls right out, so even if you trip on it, you can't break it. To turn the Lingraphica on and off, use the power button. It's located back here with the red dot. This is the trackpad. You'll use this to move around the screen. And this is the clicker bar. You'll use this to make selections. To help you remember, the trackpad has a drag label on it, and the clicker bar has a click label on it. These small
As you
openings
can
up here
tell,
are
they
microphones.
changed later on.
When you want to record your own voice, you'll speak into them. In between them is a built-in camera. There are a few important keys I want to talk about. This is the return key, and it's marked with a blue dot. Down here is the option key. It's marked with a yellow dot. You'll learn more about these in further help sessions. To adjust the volume, you will use these two keys, the F4 and the F5 that are located up here. Now you're ready to get started.
He said the F4 and the F5. Yeah, F4 and F5. This one's on F10 and F11. I think he says F4 and F5 in it. Let's see.
Down here is the option key. It's marked with a yellow dot. You'll learn more about these in further help sessions. To adjust the volume, you will use the F11 and F12 keys.
Oh, this one is updated.
Up here. Now you're ready to get started.
Huh. So even, you can tell the voiceover changed, but it's the same video, kinda. They did update the video. That's neat. But yeah, I was going to demonstrate everything on this, but we can do it on this now too. I can't believe that. Let's go return. Return. This one's, it's so floppy. Now I understand the stand. That's kind of annoying. But this shocks me. And this one actually isn't as responsive as the other one now.
house,
There we go. It's weird. But if you want to crash out to the desktop, you just hit Command Q and close out the program. And here we are in a lockdown version of Mac OS. There's no docks. This is running 10.4.9. And this one is running 10.5.1. They both have 1 gig of DDR2. And this is a 2 gigahertz, and this is a 2.1. This was the entry-level MacBook. I think this was 2 for those models. And they only have 1 gig of RAM. There's no point in updating them, honestly, because, yeah, you know, it's, like I said, there's no point. But where this will allow you to go to different programs, this one will not, because parental controls. This one's more locked down. But I do know the admin name, and that is the password for it now. And we can pull up System Profiler, and actually this is a 2,1. Huh. How about that? So apparently they were recycling old systems, because this was sold just a few months before this one. This is a 4,1. This is a 2,1. Huh. How about that? Well, I guess that part of the video I just covered didn't, yeah. This is a 2,1. This is a 4,1. And this was sold in late 07, I think. And this was sold in early 08. It's different. But yeah, what we will do now is show you another weird quirk of these systems. You're supposed to always be locked into the Lingraphica screen. How do you turn them off is the big question. If you go to Settings, there's no options for it. He said in the video to shut it down, you just press the red button. It brings up the shutdown menu, and then you just choose shut down, and it will shut down. And it goes the same for this one, which I bet you when I turn it off, the screen will no longer work again. There might be a loose connection in it. But hey, it pulled a mod book on me, because my mod book fixed itself midway through the video after never working before. It's just, these are weird systems. But now that we know this one works, and it probably won't again after it boots up, I still think we should film this one because it's got a cleaner screen and is in better shape. So let's do that. It still works.
Actions.
The heck. Whatever. So we'll shut this one off for now. And we'll focus on this one. So let's get to it. I've propped up my eGPU behind it so it won't get all wobbly. And we're going to explain to you how this works. This thing right here, you can make your own conversation. And the touch is suddenly not working very well. We may have to switch to the other one. It might be some kind of weird plague that transfers between the two. Who knows? But anyway, so what you do is if you want to make a conversation, each one of these usually have a thing, like different categories in them. And you can tap on them.
People.
And you'll get this option. This will go into the categories. This will just add it to the talk thing here. Okay? Or you can double click on them.
Actions.
Or it won't do it.
Things. Things.
It's supposed to just automatically go in it without saying it.
Actions.
Ha.
Family.
Okay. Anyway, you hit the green button and it doesn't open it.
House.
We're doing great here. That one might be the double tap one. I don't think that's right. But anyway, you can set it up so like if you want to say
Garden.
I figured that was pool. There we go. So if we want to talk about the pool, we can either hit the plus button to add it down here, or we can click and drag it onto the screen. So this isn't going to make any sense, but we can just drag them, or it won't do it. We may have to switch to the other one. But let's say this was a normal
flower.
This is kind of annoying because it's kind of slow. But let's say that we just made a conversation. Let's say poolgrass flower is an actual conversation, and now we're starting to have autofocus problems here. All right. So let's say poolgrass flower is an actual conversation. We just hit the speech
Pool,
button,
grass, flower.
and we just talked about it. I think the screen needs recalibrated. There we go. Let's. Yeah. You should be, yeah. It's not working well. This worked fine in the demonstration I did on the short. All right, so what we're going to do is switch over to the other one because I want to actually make this work right. But yeah, let's try it one more time.
Pool, grass, flower, let's.
You can make a long conversation with it. You can also...
Woman.
I don't remember how you do it. There we go.
Woman.
Oh, you can pick names by clicking and holding. So now...
Marge.
There you go. It's kind of neat.
Marge.
How many women do you know named Bill? It's different. But you can actually, I don't remember how you do it, but you can change the name and make whatever word you want. And it will say it. Let's go home. Let's go home. Works great. Let's switch over to the other one. All right, so we're booted back into the other one. And the autofocus seems to be working now. The double tapping stuff actually works on this one. So instead of hearing
actions,
we can just go straight into the category by double tapping. That's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if the older version didn't do it, and I just... Because I was using the mouse on this one back when the screen wasn't working. So, yeah. But you can double tap, bring up... Okay, it must not be a category. There we go.
love.
Add. Or we can...
Frown. Smile.
So, we can actually even save it if you wanted to. Or, let's see if...
Smile.
It's a weird program.
Things.
I'll just open it. So, stores.
Stores. Stores.
Well, let's open up. Hey, it's got like Home Depot, Kmart. Yeah, Kmart. Let's go to Kmart. That dates this a little bit. But let's go Kmart.
Kmart. Kmart.
And Walmart.
Walmart.
So we can play that back.
Pain. Love. Frown. Smile. Kmart. Walmart.
It's even an old Walmart logo from like the 90s. Yeah, but yeah. So, and it's amazing this thing self-fixed itself, which translates to something's probably loose in the screen, and I don't know how to fix it, and I really don't want to take it apart. But that's a nice bonus because now I have two functional ones, so that's neat. I am still kind of speechless it worked. And another interesting thing about this system here is it came with its original battery too, but it was a spicy pillow. And I had to pry out the case. That's why the battery doesn't work, because there is none in it now. So, yeah, I'm shocked it works. So, neat. Anyway, guys, I don't really know much more we can show you. I mean, there's other things on here. Oh, there's the type to talk. Talk.
Hello, my name is Grant.
That doesn't sound very good. This will butcher this probably.
Welcome to Hrutkay.
Hrutkay. Yeah. It's just, yeah. Hey, that's cool. I found that. You can also customize your layout. And other things. You can also change it to.
Welcome to Hrutkay.
Yeah. So it's neat. It works. It's not super great. And another bonus thing about this is it's a resistive touch screen that doesn't. Why is it not just close? It's not closing. There it goes.
Things.
I know. But yeah. It I can't believe this thing works. It's a very weird, interesting system that actually works quite well for what it is. But like I was saying, this is a resistive touchscreen, so you can just hold it. It will work. Unlike the MacBook, which you have to use a stylus for. This doesn't need that. But anyway, so yeah, let's wrap up the video. So yeah, guys, the Lingraphica LG6000. The MacBook's stupid cousin, which honestly isn't as stupid as it seemed. It actually works quite well, especially the newer version, where the software actually is more intuitive and actually works better than the old version. Plus, the screen's not all wobbly, as we can see here. Yeah. It's okay, you can stop shaking now. Interesting tech here that no one's ever heard of. I'd never heard of it. Colin never heard of it. And it's so rare. I only saw one post about it, I think, on Mac Rumors back in, I think, 2021-ish. Was when the post was. I might be mistaken. But I only saw one thing online about it. There's nothing about these systems. They're very weird and rare systems that work quite well. I mean, as a speech synthesis, boy, that's hard to say, device, it works fairly well. And, you know, don't forget this saying here, if I can find it.
Pain, love, frown, smile, Kmart, Walmart.
Great saying. Yeah, you can actually construct full sentences on this. You can just type them if you really can't figure out the software. But it just works. And this thing here never worked from day one. And it fixed itself during the video. And I kept confusing which model was which. This is a 4-1, this is a 2-1. So, yeah, it's interesting because I'm pretty sure this was sold towards the end of 2007 because of all the software and date codes and stuff on the software. Unless it was updated by the factory, they must have never made a 3,1 based one. It's kind of strange. I think they did make a 5,2 version, which would have looked identical to this one. But other than that, after that, I don't think they ever made another one. In fact, Lingraphica seems to base themselves off of really strange pre-built laptops for Windows. This might have been their only Macs, well, other than the iBook G4 based one that was in all the books. I assume there's an iBook G4 one, and I'd like to find one of those too, because who's ever seen one of those? I know I haven't. But yeah, I would assume this was the last Mac they made. Like I said, their website, even their support page for their legacy devices, these don't exist. I don't know where to get the software or anything for these, so I will have to back them up. I have to be very careful with them, because if we lose the software, they no longer work. And that could be a problem. There doesn't seem to be any personal information on them, so I will image these drives. I'll probably actually upload them online for anyone else that has one and needs to restore it, because this software is going to be hard to find. And luckily I have two of them, and I still only paid, I think in total I paid about $200 for both of them combined, and this one actually came with everything it came with. That's neat. It's a weird system, and I'm glad I have them, and I'm glad I could show them to you guys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a very interesting exploratory video. It's going to take a lot of editing to make it smooth and keep it at a normal, not super boring long length. So yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, I have links to Patreon at the end of the video in the description below. Also a join button, so if you want to help me out and support me in one of those ways, that would be great. And yeah, that's the end of today's video, and this has been a Hrutkay Mods video. So guys, I figured out why Lingraphica no longer really talks about these systems. They started by the aphasia group, for aphasia problems where it's a disability. We'll just go with that. Lingraphica was their line of aphasia assistive technology devices, and their original website was aphasia.com. Well, Lingraphica, I assume, spun off sometime in 2008 due to the Wayback Machine automatically redirecting to Lingraphica every time you tried to go to aphasia.com. They did have a system before this system here, which was called the Express. The Express was just the name of the software, not the hardware. And the Express, I believe, was not a touchscreen. And then they came out with the Express2. When the Express2 came out, it was still based off the software. Okay, it was a touchscreen with an iBook G4 on it. Well, they continued the Express2 line and went over to the MacBook with touchscreens. And that's how we got our systems. And now if you go to aphasia.com, it just talks about the disability and then tells you if you're looking for these devices to go to lingraphica.com, where, well, these specific devices don't exist anymore. Very weird. This appears to be the only image that I can find of the iBook-based Express2. And if you look, it's got a translucent keyboard, which means this is probably an iBook G3, so they were making these for quite some time. I wish I could find some more info on them and actually find one, because that'd be kind of neat. But yeah, their archived website is really the only place that you can find anything about these. It's actually a very interesting system that I have hair sticking out my mouth. Yeah. By the aphasia group for aphasia, and I'm recording with dogs in here and people and hi. Really get off the computer.